1, 2, 3 cars joined together under one metal dress. An everyday van with 7 seats, a super sports car with 435 horsepower and 900 Newton meters of torque, and a 4-wheel drive van with a permanent 4-wheel drive. All respond to the same name, Audi SQ7. In times when downsizing and electric mobility play an increasingly important role, large and horsepower-powerful SUVs are no longer really up to date. Audi sees this a bit differently and launches the SQ7, a V8 diesel, and this follows in the footsteps of the Q7 V12 TDI. A completely over-dimensional 2.7-tonner that flaunts and drinks a lot, but which nevertheless leaves all car fans with their mouths wide open. The 12 cylinders produce an incredible 1,000 Newton meters of torque. Simply brutal, even though discreetly unnecessary. 4 cylinders less, half a ton lighter, and the SQ7 would be a bit more contemporary than its predecessor. It has obviously inherited its qualities as an off-roader from that. At the push of a button, the air suspension lifts the car up to 24.5 centimeters clear of the ground. And this was also possible with the previous model. And there you can drive straight through a riverbed without fear of scratching the underbody. Here, it only fails, if at all, with incorrect tires. A high axle displacement is also possible in the SQ7. This colossus is armed for more than just muddy forest paths. It is by no means exaggerated to speak of an off-roader. The question arises whether the S in SQ7 really stands for sport, or perhaps rather for snow or sand. One thing, however, speaks against the use away from tarred roads. The Audi is an elegant luxury transporter, and thus it would be a great pity to make it dirty. So better rather off onto roads again. If you want to distinguish an SQ7 from a Q7, you have to look closely. In addition to the lettering on the radiator grille and the rear end, the top model can only distinguish itself by the chromed mirrors and square tailpipes. A ceramic brake system shines through the rims for an extra charge of 8,500 euros. This is quite expensive, but nice to have in order to bring the tank quickly and reliably from its maximum 250 kilometers an hour to a standstill. When you take a seat in the SQ7, you feel one thing: luxury and comfort. The individual contour seats at the front can be adjusted more than 18 ways, heat, ventilation, and also offer a massage function. Cost 1,800 euros for the seats and 450 euros for the ventilation and the massage function. 2 additional seats, which are electronically extendable in the trunk, cost 1,400 euros, but offer little legroom. And this transforms the SUV into an off-road van and serves, for example, as a large-scale taxi for colleagues. In the event that it rains again, the crew can be brought to their favorite Italian restaurant and stay dry. With 7 adults on board, however, it gets very tight. Longer distances in this constellation should be avoided. The SQ7 has already shown 2 faces. But perhaps its paradigm discipline is the sportive SUV version, its 3rd face. People want power, and they get 435 horsepower and a torque of 900 Newton meters, and this is already available at 1,000 revolutions per minute. This is almost idle speed. Despite its enormous weight, each press on the gas pedal is directly converted into propulsion. And how is that possible? EAV is the magic word, an electronically driven compressor which is fed via the 48-volt sub-network and supports the two turbos in the Audi. This SUV doesn't know the meaning of the word turbocharger. The driver has enough thrust in the neck at any time in the SQ7. To say that its weight is not noticed would be a lie, but it can disguise the extra pounds quite well. 4.8 seconds is sufficient to accelerate to 100, and the indicated consumption of 7.6 liters surprises. But in reality, this value is rather utopian. Buyers of an SQ7 should adjust to consumption of at least 10 liters per 100 kilometers. The roll stabilizer is supposed to provide even more sportiness in the SQ7. It tries to keep the car straight in turns by twisting the axle halves against each other. And due to G-forces, the vehicle normally tends to the outside curve, and this is prevented and makes faster and more dynamic cornering possible. At the same time, it is more comfortable for the occupants. In terms of curves, its four-wheel steering is also an advantage. At high speeds, the rear axle controls the direction of travel, at low speeds against the direction of travel. On the one hand, this is useful when changing lanes on the motorway, making the Audi more agile on the other. But it doesn't become the king of curves. It needs it because of its weight. Fully loaded with 4 adults and luggage, about 2.5 tons need to be moved. However, its behavior in curves is impressive. Just like its price. It starts at just under 90,000 euros, stuffed with all sorts of equipment. However, over 160,000 euros is possible. To blame are the many pricey extras. For example, the Bang & Olufsen 3D sound system and the full leather package in the test car already cost over 12,000 euros together. Behind the steering wheel, you feel like the king of the road. GTI riders are left standing at traffic lights, and the backrest needs the shoulder blades at the same time. And should it draw a bad card in the traffic light races, the SQ7 simply takes the shortcut. The Audi doesn't know one home. It feels comfortable on every terrain and offers the driver maximum comfort at all times. In addition, the start in this Colossus is breathtaking. Not often in an SUV is one pressed into one's seat like this. Unfortunately, most people would have to win the lottery first to be able to park this car in their garages.